was always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
It's always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
Welcome to Always the Jags, your number one podcast for all things Jacksonville, all things Jaguars, all things Duval. Guys, we are on the precipice of the playoffs. Like, this is not even like the Jaguars have a chance to make the playoffs. Obviously, we're already in the playoffs, but we are on the precipice of playoff success. We are on the precipice of week 1 of the NFL playoffs in the wild card round. How crazy is that? Like, again, I thought we would make the playoffs before the season. People said I was crazy. Did I say we were going to go 13-4? I definitely did not. Yet here we are. And is there any limit for how far we can go? Is there anybody who could really is there anybody that we don't match up well against? I think that's the question. So first, let's break down this last game of the season, which I got to attend. It was actually my wife and I's anniversary, and Trevor gifted us with 3 touchdown passes. So thank you, Trevor. That was a wonderful anniversary present. I was texting one of my buddies about being at the game, and they're like, wow, kudos to you for finding a wife that is willing to spend her anniversary at a football game. And I was like, bro, I'd be thanking God every day for that incredible woman. Every single day. 6 years and counting. And so, yes, this is the perfect way to spend it, with an absolute rout of the Titans. So let's break down the game a little bit. Because, I mean, obviously the Titans came in looking to play spoiler. That's what we did to the Colts in 2021, and that's what the Titans did to us in 2023. And so when you got a division rival, and they have a chance to solidify their spot in the playoffs or get into the playoffs, for a team that's trying to up and come, but you're still playing for something, the Titans still had something to play for. They wanted to play for the development of Cam Ward. And on the first drive of the game, not going to lie, it looks bad. We had a sack, and Titans forced a quick 3 and out. And then Cam Ward drove down the field, made it 7-0, which is an advantage for the Titans, because if I'm not mistaken, we had the ball first. So the game started off a little rough. It started off a little nerve-wracking, especially because we're going against a Titans team. We're going we're going against one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. They're just not on the same level that we are. But again, people drop games to division rivals, lesser teams all the time. Again, look at Steelers, Browns. Look at Bengals, Browns. So, but here's the difference. Here's the part that changed. Liam Cohen saw that, right? Because against the Colts in week 18 of week 20 of year 2021, when we finally saw Trevor have a good game, it was like the Colts couldn't stop the bleeding, right? They realized, the Jaguars are here to play. That's going to be, and they were unable to stop the bleeding and stop it from getting any worse than that. This time, Liam Cohen saw what was happening, and he stopped the bleeding. That's the whole difference. He stopped it. He said, no, lock in. And we locked in. Now, again, obviously, I would have preferred if Cam Ward had played the whole game, so our defense had a chance to play a really a tougher opponent to kind of get going. But we didn't. Cam Ward got knocked out of the game when he ran for that touchdown, and he hurt his shoulder. They decided to pull him out for the game, and they put in Brandon Allen, which makes sense from a Titans perspective. You don't want Cam Ward to ruin his shoulder or develop some bad habits by playing on a bum shoulder. Makes plenty of sense from their perspective. The difference is, or I guess the question is, would the game have been as out of the Titans wouldn't have won? First of all, let's not kid ourselves. But would the game have been as out of reach for the Titans had Cam Ward been able to play? Maybe so. We don't know that for sure. But when the Jaguars needed to lock in, they did, right? And again, the defense didn't lose anybody. So the offense had to pick it up, and they went and marched down the field and scored a touchdown, and then scored another one, and then scored another one, and they just kept scoring. And then, Antonio Johnson got to take a pick 6, got an interception, housed it, and the stadium was electric. I mean, it was absolutely packed. and it was electric. And I was thinking, like, I have to go on a road trip this weekend with my family, and I was like, man, maybe there's a way that I can like stay back and like go to the Buffalo game and then just fly out to meet them. And then I looked at those tickets and I was like, never mind, I don't make that kind of money yet because the tickets for the Bills game have already shot up. So get him if you can. I mean, I know Liam Collins saying he needs a stadium to pack out, but like, man, it's there's already so many tickets that are being sold, and the price has already gone like way up. So it's a great spot to be in. It's a great spot to be in because now we can uh, a couple of things from this game takeaways, right? So like again, 41-7, what else is there to say? We're a better team than the Titans, especially when their quarterback's not playing. I mean, but again, is the score going to be that different with Cam Ward? And again, the thing is, here's the thing that I like about the defense and the way the game played. With their starting quarterback, yes, Tennessee was able to put up some points. When the backup came in, a reasonable expectation would have been to win the game. And the consistent expectation would be, okay, don't let this guy score anything on this. Like it's the Titans and their quarterback's not playing. He shouldn't be able to get any points at all. You should blank him out. Brandon Allen should not be able to score on us. And he didn't. And to me, that's the expectation for your defense in that kind of moment. Like, like I said, the expectation would be been to win the game. But for some reason, backup quarterbacks just have done a thing to us this year. Like whether it was Riley Leonard completing some nice passes, Davis Mills rallying the Texans for a win, or man, Davis Mills also beat the Bills, so we don't really have to feel too bad about that. Or Jake Browning going crazy with the Bengals to put us to keep us out of the game. So again, the expectation to me would have been as a coach, okay, Cam Ward is out. They're not scoring a single point for the rest of the game. If Brandon Allen is playing, they shouldn't be able to score any points against our defense. That was the challenge, and our defense held up to it. Now, again, is it that tough of a challenge? Probably not. But that should have been the expectation, and they met it. Right? There's no way to exceed an expectation of this quarterback shouldn't score any points on us, other than he shouldn't complete any yards, and that's not a realistic thing at all because you can always just dump it off to your running back. So the Jaguars defense stepped up and the Jaguars offense stepped up. There was a couple of times where I was wondering why our guys were still in there. Like once Brandon Allen came in, I almost was tempted to be like, all right, do we really need to put Trevor in? Like Nick Mullins can leave this thing to a victory. It's fine. Um, but it was a cool moment, and I feel like Liam Cohen is really in tune with the fans and really in tune with um, what it meant at the stadium. And I think that was the coolest moment because, like, if we were on the road against the Titans game and it was going like this, once Brandon Allen went out, if Trevor scored a touchdown and then scored another one, we probably would have taken Trevor out. Like, once it was like 27-3, 28-3, like 28-3, maybe 28-7, sorry, we probably would have taken Trevor out. But because we were at home, we got a really cool moment to see Trevor complete to, of course, his guy, Parker Washington, to hit that 4,000 yards on the season. And the entire stadium stood up and clapped and rallied around him as the announcer made the announcement. And you could tell that's what Liam Cohen was going for. I would have loved to see Trevor get that rushing touchdown and join that Josh Allen, Cam Newton company. But he passed for 4,000 yards, right? Like that's an accomplishment in and of itself. It's his third time doing it, and he got to do it in a fashion where all the fans got to stand up, look at him, clap for him. He did it, a wave acknowledging that, like, that's when we knew his day was done, right? Like, once he completed that pass and got to 4,000. And to me, that's Liam Cohen playing to the home crowd, playing to the fans, and playing to the people of Jacksonville. And that's the kind of thing that rallies your guys around. Like, again, I can understand the importance of, like, hey, I don't need my guy in there to win this game. We need to not get hurt. And that was a worthy, and it was kind of a gamble on Liam Cohen's part because obviously Trevor didn't end up getting hurt. But I think it was worth it for what it did for the fans and what it did for the people in that stadium who got to, celebrate and congratulate Trevor Lawrence on this accomplishment. And I think Liam Cohen knows the fans of Jacksonville. He knows the people, and I feel like he knows. Again, this is something that's only significant because it's a home game. If this was on the road, obviously the announcer's not going to announce like, oh, hey, the opposing quarterback just passed 4,000 yards. Like, that's not going to be a thing. So it was nice that everyone got to celebrate with Trevor. You know, it was really nice for the fans. And then Cam Little. Oh my God. Oh my God. 67 yarder. I was really wondering if he was going to hit the 6-7, you know, at the end of it. Didn't quite get there. But Cam Little is a weapon. He is a beast. He is I don't even know how else to describe it. Like, he's such a weapon. Someone posted like there's so many memes going on where people are like defensive coordinators realizing that Trevor only needs one first down to kick a field goal now. Essentially, because you get the ball at the 35-yard line, and if Trevor gets, I mean, I guess it's two first downs. He only needs to get to like the 55-yard line for us to have a realistic chance of kicking a field goal. That's crazy. That's crazy. And like someone tweeted like something's got to change because you should not be able to get a first down after kicking. I mean, you should not be able to get a first down, get 3 points after only getting like 15, 20 yards. And it's like, well, then get a kicker that's as good as Cam Little. That's your only solution there, you know, because the rules are you get the ball at the 35, and Trevor is good enough to get us 20 yards, and Cam Little can just do the rest with that. And his leg is so small. Like, he's like, it's funny because his name is Cam Little, but he's actually like a tiny person compared to the rest of the football players around him. Like, you see him stand next to Trevor Lawrence, and it's like, what? Uh, but he's a tiny person, and so seeing him boot that field goal, I'm just like, I don't know how much power is in that leg. But obviously that was a crazy moment too, because that was a 67 yarder. So now Cam Little, he's literally kicked the three longest field goals that have ever been kicked on an NFL field in an NFL game. 70 yarder in the preseason, 68 yarder for the official record versus the Raiders, and a 67 yarder, still higher than anybody else in this game. All because the Titans went for it on fourth down, didn't convert, and we kicked the field goal. That was the point in the game. Like, I think the Titans already knew there wasn't any hope, but that was the point in the game where it's like, there's nothing we can do. Like, from the Titans fan, if you were watching that and then you got to that point, there's literally 1 second left. So of course you would go for it on fourth down because there's 1 second left. They line up Cam Little. It's 31-7. 31-7. Turnover on downs. Like, I think that knocked all the wind out of their sails, if they had any wind in their sails to begin with. So yeah, I mean, everything's firing on all cylinders right now, and the question is, how far can we keep that going? Talk a little bit about some of the Jaguars news and some of the Steezy Trev came to life for everybody because all the players after the game brought him a grill from that AI image, and they had it custom made for his teeth, which I guess is pretty easy because he's got a mouth guard or something. And Jerry and Jones presented it to him, and I always thought the AI thing was weird, and I always thought Trevor Lawrence does not look good with grill. Let's not make this a thing, and I'm sure his wife probably feels very similarly about that. I thought the picture was funny when they framed it and brought it to him, but I'm like, it's just weird. And even my wife was like, is Trevor like allowed to wear that because he's white? I'm like, well, I mean, you know, all the players wanted him to. So I mean, to me, like, it's one thing for him to accept it, but for then all the players to be like, put it on, and for him to like put it on in front of them and to like make the face, like, I think that just shows that like Jerry and Jones literally said it best. All the players are around you. The whole city of Jacksonville is around you. And you could tell that when the Jaguars fans celebrated Trevor hitting 4,000 yards. You could tell the whole city is around him. You can tell that when I really liked it because it's a defensive player giving the grill to Trevor. You know, and that just shows how cohesive the team is as a whole. The defense isn't blaming the offense isn't blaming the defense. Like, usually you end up getting closer to your offensive players and your defenses end up getting closer, right? That's just natural. But for Jerry and Jones, a defensive player, defensive backup, to be presenting that to Trevor shows that like he has a close enough relationship with Trevor to do that, which shows that Trevor is getting to like he's. I feel like Trevor's always gotten to know his teammates, but he still continues to do it for the new waves of guys that come in because obviously teams change every year, and they just it's just such a feel good team right now. Like that. I mean, obviously, winning the vibes are always going to be good when you're winning, right? But I guess what I mean is like they're all connected. I guess it's the best way, and they play as a team and they play as a unit. We don't have superstars or divas on this team. We have some stars, right? But we don't have like superstars, like household names. And no one knows who Jerry and Jones is outside of the Jacksonville community. And they're all playing so hard. And it feels like they're all playing so hard for Trevor and for Liam Cohen. And again, that's what I think makes this team special is because we play as one unit, led by Trevor Lawrence, but like we play as one unit. Like you look at other teams and they've got stars, like the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, and some of them are kind of divas, like AJ Brown. You got to get me the ball. Jaguars is like whatever it helps to help the team win, right? Jacoby Myers has never complained about not getting the ball. Now AJ Brown said like he only wants the ball to help his team win, but there's been games where he got the like he's one of those receivers, as Pete Briscoe would say, he'd rather get the ball 100 times and lose than not get the ball and win, right? Because individual stats, individual pride. When you get to a certain point, you become like a superstar diva. No one on the Jaguars is like that, especially not Trevor Lawrence, and That's also infected this whole team. I mean, it's infected like it wasn't already there, right? Like it was already there, but that's the kind of energy that this team is playing with, and it's like it's pretty incredible. Like I said, watching Trevor put on that grill. It looked terrible, but I'm also like, I don't know if this is really the look for you, man. I don't know if this is really the look. Um, but James Gladstone continued to make some great signings and filling out and making sure that we're going to keep our cool guys. Cole Van Lannon recently got extended, 3 years. I think it was $51 million deal. Jacoby Myers, 3 years, $60 million deal. So this offseason, I don't think there's a single free agent that we're gonna bring in other than maybe like a depth piece, like a third string tight end here or there, guys who get signed for like the veteran minimum or something like that. Like the entire focus this offseason is going to be retaining our own guys, ETN, Lloyd. And I think depending on how far the Jaguars go, will probably determine what we keep. You know what I mean? Like if we make a Super Bowl run and we win the Super Bowl, which would be insane, but is not even that unrealistic. I don't know if James Gladstone brings back um, Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne. I think he'll probably look to reload and continue building for the future. But I think if we get close, like AFC Championship, or if we get to the Super Bowl for the first time and lose, we'll be looking to run it back. And he'll be looking to manipulate the cap to keep Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne in order to run it back because those are key pieces on this run. Um, and the crazy part is now we have, like, we were at a point in the season where we had like 3 wide receivers that we could have played. Like, we had a dearth of wide receivers at some point. And now, once Travis Hunter gets back, we're gonna have the deepest and strongest group in the league, all just from trading from Jacoby, all from trading for Jacoby Myers and the emergence of Parker Washington. It's crazy. It's crazy how many things can change. Liam Cohen like said it in the presser or the locker room. Every Jaguars player caught a touchdown. Every Jaguars skill position player caught a pass. Trevor's dealing it to whoever's there, the open man. There is one drive that was literally all Brenton Strange. It was like Strange, Myers, touchdown Strange. it was awesome. It was like Doctor Strange. I want to be like, Stranger Things, go crazy. And it's like, and that's the problem with our offense because we can have one drive where it's all Brenton Strange all the way down the field, and then have another drive where it's all Jacoby Myers, or have Travis Etienne. Like, which weapon do you cover? For the Chiefs for a long time, it was Travis Kelce, and he was just unstoppable, right? Like you just couldn't stop him. Like, there's no way he was not going to get his, back during his prime, and we experienced that whenever we played them, and it was like, yeah, there's only one weapon here, I mean, they had Tyreek Hill too, and so that like Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelsey, and it was like, yeah, they've got pretty much a one weapon here, but you just can't stop him, so it doesn't really matter. So for us, if we've got so for us, we don't have that unstoppable, can't be covered kind of guy, but we've got so many guys that you can't leave any of our guys one on one. Like your best cover guy, matchup guy, you can't just match up one on one with our skill position players because you'll probably get beat. Like Travis Etienne beat that guy in the open field versus the Colts game. That's like an expectation that like Liam Cohen has of his skill position players. So, and obviously it's made a huge difference, and that's the kind of the glue that's keeping the team together. Um, and again, hopefully we get ETN and Devin Lloyd to run it back. I would love that. I think that every time I think that like we could replace ETN, he does something crazy. And this year, if you want me to say why we need to keep ETN, I need you to go watch the 49ers game. And I need you to watch a move that ETN puts on a DB that's coming towards him. ETN's running straight line this way. The DB is coming here. ETN makes it look like he's breaking this way. And literally 5 yards before it happens, he stops and starts going this way. And this guy cannot change his momentum, and he just passes him. And the way that ETN sold it so hard and then changed direction, he's never done that before. And that's what led to the touchdown, which led to the win, which led to us getting 13-4 in the number 3 seed. Stuff like that is like, I don't know if like Bashal Tutin is explosive, but I don't know if Bashal Tutin can do that just yet. I'm not ready to let that walk out the building. That was too good. That's a move, like that kind of move, that kind of ability is not just guys blowing open holes in the run game. That's ETN's individual ability making guys miss. And I think Tutin has, some similar ability to that too. But again, absent a Super Bowl run, I wouldn't be ready to let go of that. And I think Trevor wants to keep ETN too. My prediction is we re-sign ETN and hit Devin Lloyd with the franchise tag. That would be my prediction. Or, I guess it could be reversed. We hit ETN with the franchise tag and we re-sign Devin Lloyd. But man, we need both those guys to come back so badly. So let's move on to how we're going to defeat the Buffalo Bills, because I'll say it right here. We are going to win on Sunday. Now, the first thing is the disrespect vibes continue to grow. Like we already talked about Cam Little now having kicked 3 longest field goals ever been made on an NFL field. Yet he's not a Pro Bowler. Trevor Lawrence's stats were better than Herbert before this incredible run that Trevor Lawrence just went on. Not a Pro Bowler. Liam Cohen's probably going to get snubbed for Coach of the Year. Chances are it's going to be Vrabel or Mike McDonald's really climbing up the ranks because of the success. But I'm like, and I like Mike McDonald too, but like he did it. He's been building for 2 years, right? This is his second year at the helm, and they are making a huge improvement. Liam Cohen took a 4-13 team and turned them into 13-4. Like as great as what Ben Johnson's done in Chicago, were the Bears 4-13 the year before? No. Now again, part of that's because our starting quarterback was out, but still. So all the disrespect vibes, and then so to me the biggest element of disrespect is this game is being played at 1:00 on Sunday. And NFL teams don't realize it, but they are creating a monster in the Jaguars. All you're doing is feeding everything Liam Cohen has been talking about. You just, like, if the Bills lose, when the Bills lose, make that clear, it's going to be because they put the game at 1:00. The game is on Sunday at 1:00. Two of the best teams in the AFC, and you have the game at 1:00. Sunday Night Football is the Chargers and the Patriots. You'd rather see Drake May and Justin Herbert go at it than Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence on primetime. Now, again, people will argue, okay, those are bigger markets. It's LA. It's a big market, obviously. Patriots, storied franchise, big market. Yeah, okay. Okay, I hear you. Yeah, Boston, sure. Long time. Get it. Yeah. That's exactly what Liam Cohen was saying when they went to Mile High and beat the Broncos. Just grateful that a small market team can do this. So if your argument is they're at 1 o'clock because they're a small market team, great. Unfortunately, we're going to take that out on the Bills when they come to Duval. Monday Night Football, the Texans and the Steelers. Again, story franchises, but who in their right mind thinks that game is going to be better than Jags Bills with the way these two quarterbacks are playing? Who? Tell me. Comment down below and let me know. Because nobody thinks that. I guarantee you. Nobody thinks that. Even Saturday night wouldn't have been as like grotesque. Like, I mean, Rams Panthers got played at 4:30. 4:30 is a little bit more of a primetime slot, and I'm surprised they had Eagles 49ers there because those are obviously two very storied franchises. But obviously it was a tough choice, right, between them. But I think I look at the Sunday night football and I look at the Monday night football slots and I go like if Eagles 49ers had been there, maybe I see it. Or if the other NFC matchup, Bears Packers, maybe I could have seen it, right? But if you're going to say that this game isn't as good as because they put them in the slots based upon how good they think the games are going to be, and how good are the games going to be is depending on the teams playing. If you're telling me that the Steelers Texans game is going to be better than Jags Bills, yeah, it's also based upon ratings and how many ratings they could bring in. Houston is a massive market; it's a big city, but hey, Jacksonville is also a big city, and that's why I kind of don't understand like the small market thing. Jacksonville's the 15th biggest city in the United States by landmass, and I'm pretty sure by population is pretty high up there too. We're approaching a million. I think Houston has over a million, but like we are approaching a million. So like, I don't know. Here's the thing: as long as you continue to fuel the narrative, we will continue to spew it. And the Jaguars are going to take out their small market frustration on the Buffalo Bills. And it's sad because Josh Allen has a chance to go into the playoffs without Lamar Jackson, without Joe Burrow, without Patrick Mahomes, without any of the guys that knocked him out of it in years before, only to be knocked out of it by Trevor Lawrence. And people are going to start to say maybe the dynasty is ended because the Bills allowed the Patriots to win the division. You know, it didn't have to be this way, but the Bills allowed the Patriots to win the division, and now the Bills got to come to our city and they got to play our brand of football. And again, I think losing Ed Oliver really hurt the Bills because their run defense is not good. Their pass defense is very good, number one in the league, but their run defense is not. And so this is the part where the Jaguars have to take advantage of our strengths, and because we are probably the most balanced team in the AFC, maybe even in the NFL, as a lot of people are pointing out. I think the Seahawks might be a little bit more balanced just because they have a better defense, and I think their offense is a little bit better too. So the Seahawks might be the most balanced team in the entire NFL, but like we are definitely the most balanced team in the AFC. And it's such a pick your poison offense. And so from here, it's gonna be do you lean on the run? Do you lean on the run? And Buffalo's probably going to. Here's the problem for Buffalo: if they're going to stack the box because their run defense is bad, that's going to weaken their secondary and how well their secondary can cover against our guys. Because you're going to want to double team Brian Thomas Jr. or have a deep safety there watching him so he doesn't beat you deep. But then Jacoby Myers can hurt you over the middle. And who's Christian Benford going to cover? Is Tre'Davious White fast enough to keep up with even Parker Washington? Parker Washington is going to love to feast on Tre'Davious White if he's playing. He's going to love that matchup. So that's the part where Buffalo has to be very careful about what it does. Do we stack the box? And again, you can stack the box with an extra safety, but even with an extra safety, the Buffalo's run defense has still not been very good. Now you could argue, are they only stacking the box because they're keeping five guys deep so their pass defense can be good? Either way, that's something that we can exploit and take advantage of. And so I think from Trevor's perspective, if Liam Cohen calls a run play, because a lot of the passes, I think Trevor has been checking out. Like, we've kind of morphed into more of a pass happy team these last like 5 weeks because we passed the ball a lot, like a lot. And I don't necessarily think it's because Liam Cohen is calling that kind of game. I think Trevor just sees something and he likes checking out of the runs. But it's his offense, right? If he continues playing like this, you can do whatever you want. My only thought process would be if Liam Cohen calls a run and if the box isn't stacked, I would leave it as a running play, right? Like if you don't see two defenders coming all the way up to try to stop the run, leave it as a running play and let our guys continue to blow holes open in the run game and let the Bills and dare the Bills to beat us with coverage because they also might look like they're going to stack the box and then drop into coverage, right? And if you check out of the run, oh, now their elite coverage is going to take over. Now, of course, you do always have the dump off option, which is a good way to beat run defense too. It can be an extension of the run game, and Trevor Lawrence will know how to do that. But those are just things to keep in mind when we're playing this Bills defense. And from Anthony Campanelli's perspective, see, like again, the Jaguars, we can stop the run defensively without stacking the box, which works out perfectly for us because Devon Hamilton's been playing some storied football right now. Storied football. And so because we can do that, we can limit the pass catchers because basically whenever Josh Allen puts on that superhuman cape, it's because the pass rush is trying to get to him and they can't because he keeps eluding guys or stiff arming them into the ground. And eventually, no matter what pass catchers you have, unless they're maybe the Jets, eventually your guys are going to get open, right? A defensive back, safety, cornerback, they can't cover forever. You just can't. It's not possible. And so just like an offensive lineman can't block forever. You're never going to have unlimited time because eventually the guy is going to get home. Eventually the guy is going to get open. And so and the receivers might take a little longer to get open because they're not as good as some of the other receivers, but that's how Josh Allen will buy time, and then he hits a guy who was able to slip open because, again, anybody is going to get open against any defensive back over a period of time if you're playing coverage for that long. So that's the part we have to limit. We have to limit him in the pocket and maintain gap integrity to stop the run. And so I don't know if Liam Cohen is going to have a spy there. The number one way, obviously, to beat Josh Allen is to get to him quickly, which the Texans proved. But that's just because the Texans' defensive line is just better than the Bills' offensive line. They were on Josh Allen every single, he would say hike, and it was like there was a Texan wrapping him up by the time the ball hit his hands. They were just Daniel Hunter was just pistol whipping that offensive lineman. So, obviously, I'd love for Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker to have a performance like that. But more importantly, contain the gaps and make sure that he can't escape and make magic. Because you don't want him to be able to roll out. You want to compress the pocket. Compress the pocket from all angles. So you can't really see my hands from there. Compress the pocket from all angles so there's nowhere to escape. So that's more important because when he escapes and starts turning into backyard football, that's when it starts to go crazy. Because again, if we're able to rely on our run defense and stop the run, they're going to have to rely on Josh Allen's backyard football. If we can limit James Cook, Josh Allen's going to have to make some crazy plays. Compress that pocket. Make sure that guys are maintaining their gap integrity rather than one wave coming and then pushing him this way. You need both waves to come at the same time. And I think that's what Anthony Campanelli is going to look at and scheme for to make sure that we can beat them. And that is the what's the right word? Recipe for victory. I think it's going to be a high scoring, loose matchup, but I think the Jaguars defense is going to get a couple of key stops where the Bills defense can't. And I think the worst thing for the Bills is if we jump out to an early lead or get a couple of turnovers, because then we will be able to run the ball down their throats and just run it, drain that clock, and continue to run it. And I think one of the best ways for Liam Cohen to utilize and beat those box looks when they try to stack the box, because you can also use Trevor's legs. So if Trevor sees a gap, if Trevor sees two guys come up, right, and it's a running play, and he's going to hand it to ETN, and they drop into coverage, and so if Trevor sees two guys coming up, and then he changes the play because he wants to do a pass play because it looks like they're going to stack the box, and then they drop into coverage instead, and Trevor checked out of the run play, because of Trevor's athleticism, he has the option to just take it and go as well, right? So instead of ETN going up the middle, Trevor's the one going up the middle. and that can be something that we can also use, right, as an extension of to keep the run game going, and also to let the Bills know you can't do that or you won't be able to do that. Now they'll probably have a spy on Trevor Lawrence as well, but here's the problem: when you got a spy on a quarterback, like when people have been using a spy for Lamar Jackson and stuff like that, that means your other guys, that's one less guy to cover one of their skill position players. And do you really trust that Brenton Strange, Parker Washington, uh, Jacoby Myers, and Brian Thomas can all be handled by single coverage? Because you'll only have one guy each for those guys if you leave a spy for Trevor. So there's a lot of different ways that our team can win and take advantage of this Bills matchup. I think the key is to establish the run early and on. And again, establishing the run doesn't necessarily have to be like running 3 plays in a row. It can just be establish it and make sure that they feel Trevor is a threat with his legs. Um, and maybe even do some designed QB runs, and have Trevor get down, obviously. But the purpose of the design QB run is not always to get yards. It's just to remind defenses he's a threat with his legs and they have to defend differently. And then you take advantage of that by hitting guys that they now have to leave in single coverage. So let me know your thoughts if the Jaguars can defeat the Buffalo Bills when they come to our stadium for Wild Card Weekend. Are you going to the game? What do you want to see out of the Jaguars in this? And can the Jaguars make a deep playoff run? I think that's the question on everybody's mind. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts, and don't ever forget, it was always the Jags.